Hello everyone. So today I will show you how to add 3D models in Davinci Resolve just using two assets which you can find in the link description to download for free. So the first step is I right click and I add a new Fusion composition. Let's title this plane. Since we're working with a plane model, you can name it something better and more creative. Then you can right click this, open in Fusion tab. Once you're in the Fusion tab, go to your media settings. I'd also like to note two things. The first is that this is a USD model, and so we'll be working with the USD workflow in Fusion. And secondly, this model is of a branded plane. I just want to note that I am not working with them or affiliated with them whatsoever. I just thought it was a good model that I found online. So when we put this in here, it becomes as a U loader because it's a USD node, and then you can navigate to see it. This is the name of the plane. As I mentioned before, I'm not working with them. I think this is a very interesting model, and I for one really love planes, and so this was quite attractive to me. Next, press shift spacebar, add a U merge node. After the U merge node, shift spacebar again and add a U renderer node, and then connect the U renderer node to media out, and this is what your media out is saying. Next, press U merge, shift spacebar and add a U camera. So when we're working with USD nodes, you have to add U merge, U cam, and U render if you want to add it to your scene. And so I'm going to view one as my U merge so I can see everything. Then I'm going to press the camera and sort of readjust it. The first problem you see is that the plane is sort of like disappearing when you readjust, right? In order to fix this, this is how, like, you just adjust the clip so that it doesn't clip the way it was doing. And so our plane is currently behind a very transparent background. We don't want that, and we want to make it be in the sky. So next, what you do is you shift spacebar and press a U dome to add a U dome light. Once you have your U dome light selected, you can add in the HDRI image. You can also add it by going to the U dome light and browsing for it wherever it is located. But since we have it in Fusion, we can connect it to the U dome light, and then you have to go to render. Instead of camera, press scene. Under scene, enable sky dome. You can enable shadows as well. Now we have our plane located and it's in the sky, and now you can sort of like move this camera however you see fit. What I'm going to do is sort of like transform this so it's a bit smaller. Add a U transform node, scale it down a little bit like this. Yeah, perfect. And so this is how you add 3D models to your scene. This is what the media output is saying. However, if you want to take it a step further, what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to the camera and I'm going to go to transform, and I'm sort of going to add keyframes to all of this. This is a 24 frames per second timeline. Let's say in 48 frames, the plane has moved something like this, right? And I want it to move, so I moved to the Z-axis and I shifted a bit like this. I want to go one frame above. After another couple of seconds, I want to move the plane like this, and then also rotate it so that we're sort of like seeing its side, you know? And I'm also going to just move it just a tiny bit up as well, like this. This is how it looks in 3D. And then towards the end, I can like push it like this. Really here at this point, you can sort of like design it however you want. It doesn't have to be exactly what I'm doing. What I'm going to do, because I don't like how it sort of like moves while we're still in this position, I wanted to approach first and then turn, and then we see it go by, right? I'm going to take these keyframes right here. I'm going to keyframe this to be 0 so that it doesn't start changing then, so that it approaches and then it sort of like turns and then we see it fly by. So yeah, this is how you animate the plane. Once you have done amending all your flight path, you can choose however you'd like to keyframe this plane, whether it's just going straight past it or just turn to see the name of the plane, or it's really how you envision this to be. But the principles are sort of similar. It's not the only way of doing things, but this is how I worked on this. So this is how you add 3D models to your scene using USD models. I hope this was somewhat helpful. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one.